So with crosshair placement, there's probably a bunch of different things that we could go over. So in this course, we're going to kind of go over a couple of just like maybe the basic crosshair placement tips, and then we'll go into some more advanced crosshair placement stuff. So to start out, what is crosshair placement in general? Well, your crosshair placement is, as you guessed it, it is the placement of your crosshair. So you'll notice in the center of my screen, this is my crosshair. You can change your crosshair if you like. I have a bunch of different presets that we did for a video recently that you can check out on the website that is also available, probably under the same course. But whether you wanted to do like a different crosshair, like the smaller one, or like a dot, it's really up to you. It's all personal preference. We have like different like ones that are specialized in different things. So this one's good for movement error and stuff like that, just to make sure that like when you're moving, it'll be out, and then when you're standing still, it'll be in. So this way you can like make sure to practice your like counter strafing and stuff like that, and just make sure that your bullets are going to the same place. But yeah, it's really your call. Sometimes you can mess around with it. Largely, your crosshair isn't really too relevant to your aim, though. It's mostly just personal preference. This is a crosshair I use a lot, honestly, and I'd say my aim is probably better with this crosshair. It feels better, but it's all placebo, really. It really doesn't matter what crosshair you're using. It's all personal preference. But why is your crosshair placement important? Well, in a game like I don't want to speak too much from these games because I didn't play a ton of them, so it's hard for me to say really how important it is in these games versus others. But I know that in Valorant, it's very important because the time to kill is very low. So if you compare this to a game like Apex, right? If I'm aiming like right here and a target swings me from over here, I'm going to have enough time to adjust to this, right? Like I'm not going to die in one bullet. I can make this flick and I can probably kill this target. Now, it would be better if my crosshair was over here and I was prepared for this target to swing. But in a game like Apex, when the time to kill is a lot higher, you don't really need to worry about it as much. But in a game like this, where 1 millisecond could be the difference between you living or you dying, it's very important that your crosshair is at the position of head level when that target peeks you so that you don't have to worry about adjusting it, right? Because if I'm aiming here and my enemy target is going to swing this angle and he's aiming exactly where I'm standing when he peeks, I'm going to probably lose this gunfight. This is why a lot of the times also you'll see situations where people will kind of just whiff. And it's actually not as much as a whiff as people think. This is why I get frustrated with the comments when people are like, oh, whiff, like when you're streaming or something like that. When in reality, it's like you're aiming here, somebody starts shooting at you from garage, you turn and you spray like that and you miss your shot onto them. And like it looks like a whiff because it is a whiff, but it's not as bad as you think because this is a hard shot to land. You flicking over here is not something that's easy to do. And it's going to be difficult for you. It makes sense that you would whiff in a situation like that. It wasn't an easy shot for you, right? This is why crosshair placement is important. So how do you have good crosshair placement, right? Well, good crosshair placement, there's a lot of different things that will go into it. And since like this is a basics video to start it out, just like to introduce it, we're not going to go into those in this video. We'll go into those in the next one. But the thing to keep in mind is that you always want your crosshair at head level. This is what's going to do the most damage to targets. And that's why you'll see crispy flicks when somebody like, or not flicks, but just shots when somebody peeks around a corner and they just one tap this guy and see long, right? It's because they have good crosshair placement and they know exactly where that's going to be when they peek, right? You can do this as you practice, and as you get better at this game, you learn the maps more. You learn what angles you need to aim at as you're entering sites, right? So, for example, if I was going to peek mid-window, I'd have my crosshair prepared for like this angle right here, right? Because that's where somebody's going to be. This is something I've peeked a lot. I've spent a lot of time playing this game, so I know this angle. Even before that, generally how I'll peek this is like this, right? I'll peek right here. Okay, nobody's garage. Sweet, come through here. Okay, nobody's right there. You'll peek like the right side now, like so you'll kind of go across, like peek that, and then you can kind of like clear this. This is another angle I'll clear, like right here. I'll jump around this way and I'll clear this. And you'll notice how my crosshair isn't really, it's always prepared for where this player is going to be, right? The player will be right there. Now we're gonna peek C-Link. Okay, right there. That's clear. Now we'll peek right side. Nobody right there. You can't really pre-aim both sides, but you're getting the idea. My crosshair is going to be at the head level when I peek this angle. So this is what we call pre-aim right here. And pre-aiming is generally going to be when you're aiming at a wall. Notice how this wouldn't be good crosshair placement if somebody was going to swing me right here. That would be bad. But it's pre-aimed for this location. So when I peek this location, that's where I'm aiming. Or more appropriate would probably be something like that. But yeah. And then the counterpart to this is like tracing, right? So if I was worried about somebody being around this corner, like to the right here, that's what I was talking about, how if somebody swung me from right here, this would be really bad because I'd be aiming at a wall. If I wanted to prepare for that, I would aim like right here, right? So this is kind of just like a basic course on crosshair placement. You just want your crosshair to be at head level at all times. You don't want to be walking around like this. You see a lot of low rank players that kind of like oh no, somebody's here, and you have to like readjust, right? You don't want to adjust. You want your crosshair to be right on their head when you peek the angle, something like that, you know, in window, right? As you enter right here, maybe clear something like that. Clear this way. As I clear a corner, okay, nobody's there. Sweet. This is generally like how you're going to handle your crosshair placement at a basic level. And in the next video, we'll go a little bit more in depth. But this is the thing that you should be practicing if you're a brand new player. You should be practicing just keeping your crosshair at head level at all times and learn these angles. Try to learn where your crosshair is going to be when you come around a corner, right? You want it to be on B site, garage. Like you want to be able to understand the maps enough to have your crosshair at head level on all of these angles. Now that's going to change on elevation, right? So I'm aiming down here. Crosshair placement no longer is going to be like right here. That would be bad, right? It's going to be up here because that's where head level is going to be on like the back wall. Or if they're close, it'll be even higher, right? Get a good idea for this, and we'll go into the next video.